Alright guys, as you already know, we're talking about Charizard today. This will be our third analysis video, and this time we're actually hitting more towards the meta with a pick. Charizard has actually fallen off of the meta a good bit since Series 5, but I believe he still has a good place in the meta, and just continue watching the video and I'll tell you exactly why I think so. Okay, so the first thing we do is we're going to go ahead and check out his base stats. Usually I'll use Picalytics here, but we're actually out of power. So I have no internet, so I'm just working off the pages I had already pulled up. So our base stats here, he has an amazing base speed of 100. So this is the best thing to look at. So things to point out. You're not going to outspeed Cinderace. Nothing outspeeds Dragapult anyway. You're not outspeeding like Terrakion or Cobalion. But those aren't that big of a deal. Also, things like Inteleon. There's a few things in the meta that you're not going to outspeed. But things to note that you do outspeed. Things like Arcanine, Urshifu. Just two things and pretty much everything else. Urshifu and Arcanine being like two of the really fast. And Excadrill, unless it's, not Sandstream, but the Rush one. I can't remember. Sand Rush. So as long as you're not going against a rush Pokemon and they have the proper weather, you're good to go. So the base speed 100 is an incredible thing to start off. Obviously, he's not very defensive. This is a purely offensive Pokemon. And the special attack isn't incredible at sitting at 109. But the thing you want to look at here with the 109 special attack is you can heavily exploit that with a few things. So obviously you all know that you play Charizard on a Sun team traditionally. So when you have the Sun up, you get a 1.3 boost, I think it is, to fire type moves. Maybe it's a 1.5 actually. And then on top of that, you have solar power as well. So you basically get a double boost. You basically get a 2 times boost to all fire moves because of solar power. And let me rephrase that. Solar power doesn't do that. Solar power gives you a 1.5 times boost for all your moves. But during Sun, you also get the Sun boost and the solar power boost, if you catch what I'm saying. So Sun, the actual Sun, the weather, will boost your fire type moves. Solar power will boost all your moves, but if you actually use a fire move, Heat Wave as an example, you actually will be getting a 2 times boost for that. Now you slap something on top of that like a Life Orb or a Choice Specs, you're looking at a 2.5 times boost. It's like actually kind of like, it's just nuts what you can do with Charizard offensively. We will be going over a few sets with Charizard as well that you can use to exploit his offensive capability. But let's go ahead and look at his weakness and immunity and resistance chart. He's immune to ground, which is his only immunity, and he's not a defensive Pokemon by any means. But if you can bait, like if you have a really good idea that they're about to max Quake you, or Earthquake, or high horsepower, you have something out there that's weak to ground, like Duraludon or Tyranitar, you can actually pivot into Charizard in some cases and actually totally just make them waste an entire Dynamax move. Other thing to point out is his 0.25 resistance to grass. This might not seem like it's that big of a deal considering how frail he is, but considering the fact that Rillaboom is so rampant, the Grassy Glide's not going to be doing too much, and you're also putting that Rillaboom in extreme pressure because you're fire. Grass versus fire, we all know how that goes. Obviously, you're not going to want to get hit by any rock move ever. You die. You're dead. Unless you're Focus Sash, you're dead. One shot. He's not defensive, and a times 4 weakness, he's going down, period. Even through Charty Berry in most cases. Also has quite a few weaknesses. Water, electricity, and rock. Which actually, it's not a ton, but they're very primary. Like you see a lot of water, you see a lot of rock, and you see a fair amount of electricity. So you have some very exploitable weaknesses. Some decent resistance too. 0.5 from Fairy, 0.5 from fire, 0.5 from steel, 0.25 from bug, and 0.5 from fighting. So those are kind of notable, but mainly things we're looking at here is ground and grass resistances. And so let's go ahead and go on over to our team builder here. Charizard's a bit more linear of a Pokemon. Uh, Basically, what makes him so good is just his ability, and if you can get him in position. Torkoal tends to be the best Sunsetter. You also have the option of Ninetales, which is a decent option, but Torkoal tends to be better because the slower Pokemon's weather will win out in a weather war. So let's say Politoed and Ninetales come out. Ninetales will proc before because he's faster. The sun will set, and then Politoed will proc setting the rain, so you will lose out. Versus sending out Torkoal being, I'm pretty sure, the slowest weather setter there is, so you pretty much can't lose there. You pretty much get your sun, but most of the time you're not bringing Torkoal up front. In some cases you do, especially if they don't have a competing weather. But this set here, you can see we have Choice Specs, which is the set I was telling you about. And if you see some of my prior videos, you'll see exactly how powerful this set is. You can actually opt, if you're planning to Dynamax Charizard, honestly, I would opt out either Dragon Pulse or Scorching Sands for like a Protect, just for the sense of when you're Dynamax, you do have the option. It's actually kind of nice. It seems crazy and like it doesn't make sense to do it, but 9 times out of 10, you always click Heat Wave with Charizard anyway, even if it's something resists it. In the sun with Solar Power and Choice Specs, Heat Wave is absolutely an annihilating move. And you also get the stab too. Like, good lord, I might just have to do like the mathematics on that in another video. But you pretty much always, there's not a set I can think of almost that you don't run 252 in speed and special attack and 4, and I guess you can put that wherever you want. I always put it in HP. It was pretty close to irrelevant because you're wanting to sweep with the Charizard. So this is one set you can use. You can actually swap out the Choice Specs for, if the meta changes and you need to be even faster, you can even go like the Choice Scarf route where you actually get the 1.5 speed boost and you'll be outspeeding things like Cinderace, and I'm pretty sure you're even outspeeding Dragapult at that point. So there's that option. Let's go ahead and look at this other one here. This is a Life Orb set. So this is a more, if you're going more for the Dynamax version, you can G-Max. I actually tend to like regular Charizard a little better than G-Max because you have the ability to change things back to Sun with the Max Flare versus Inferno. But the tick damage is nice as well. You can burn Focus Ashes. So that's just subject to player. The tick damage is also what is really nice. So basically, since this is a more focused around Dynamaxing, which I don't think is good in this meta right now. I think he's better as a backup support, or not support, but backup sweeper. Kind of like how Sylveon has performed in the past. I think Charizard performs better that way with Choice Specs. But this way, you can actually bring him in the back as well with a Protect. Blast Burn, 150 base power, so that's hitting just as hard as any G-Max move. And Solar Beam, just so you have the grass coverage against, the opposing water Pokemon, you now can hit super effective against. And obviously Air Slash, your other stab move, also being the best Dynamax move there is with Max Airstream. So, like I said, Charizard's mostly self-explanatory, but I just wanted to cover a few things because here's this Choice Scarf set I have set up here. You can actually go beat up with Charizard if you want to throw in a little surprise. You could use like a beat up on Terrakion, Cobalion, even Arcanine, Lucario, you name it, any justified Pokemon. You can actually beat up with Charizard. That's the thing. Aaron Zing actually has a few cool battles with beat up Charizard. Of course, that was back in like Series 3, I think. So you might have to really look for that. Just type in beat up Charizard. It's actually really cool. You'll see my EV spread here is actually a bit different. I actually put it in HP instead of special attack, since you're primarily just using it to beat up. But these are just a few cool ways you can use Charizard. I figured I'd open your mind a little bit to Charizard, considering he's my favorite Pokemon, and why not do a video on my favorite Pokemon and kind of let you inside my brain on how to operate with Charizard. Like I said, I just want to mention it one time again. He is so good in the back. I like him so much better for cleanups at the end of the game because he's just so overpowering, and people tend to bring their fastest Pokemon up front. So you don't really want Charizard going up against Cinderace and Dragapult, stuff like that. They're Trick Room setters. You kind of want to wait that stuff out. Although Charizard Torkoal is a great lead against like any kind of Trick Room setup, because you basically force them to not want to Trick Room. So, and you also get to do double spread, and that usually ends up in death for them. So that's all I really have to say about Charizard. I plan on doing many more of these videos like this, just trying to open y'all's mind up to the meta and what you can do with Pokemon that have already existed and where they fit in the new format. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please hit that sub button, like, comment, do all that good stuff. And as always, God bless and peace. Ah!